It's Wednesday. It's hump day. If you can't tell, like if you watching this after it was pre-recorded and you guys follow the content, you know what I'm saying? I've been going live every day, but I'm going live at a different time every morning. You know what I'm saying? Not really sure, like, because I don't have it playing. Like, I didn't have it playing the last 3 mornings that I'm gonna do a live stream. But yeah, and still, it's been so much going on with the news, with politics, man, to where I feel like, you know what I'm saying, I need to come on and just speak my thoughts, man, because, you know what I'm saying, like, we're on the brink of war with Iran. I mean, that within itself is newsworthy. And then on top of being on the brink of war with Iran, you know what I'm saying, like, it's like almost a war, it seems like, in my mind, that's happening in Minneapolis. You see what I'm saying? Bro, like, if you give me a second and let me litigate my case, man, I'm going to just take a minute and litigate my case. And the precipice of this argument is because there was another shooting in Minnesota. A man was shot in the leg. So within a span of 7 days, you have two shootings between a protester, or maybe you call them agitators or whatever you have. But this person was a legitimate immigrant that ICE was chasing, illegal immigrant. You know what I'm saying? But two people I'm going to tell the story in a second. Two people who weren't involved in the situation got involved in the situation. So again, you got protesters. You see what I'm saying? You got protesters who are becoming involved in these situations where ICE tries to enforce the law. You have protesters that's trying to block ICE from enforcing the law. And ICE is having run-ins with these protesters. So that's why I'm saying, man, it's like the city of Minneapolis or the state of Minnesota, man, versus ICE. That's what it like it is to me, man. What you guys think, man? Like, this situation, though, I believe that it's a lot better for ICE. Like, this is the way that, I'm not saying that ICE shouldn't, you know what I'm saying, do things better, but in this particular instance, I think it's a win for ICE. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna start saying the story as people come in the stream, and then you guys tell me what you think, and we'll talk about the broader aspects of, you know what I'm saying, the protesters or Minneapolis versus ICE. Listen, okay, so there's ICE agents and they're pursuing this man. He's an illegal immigrant in Minnesota. If y'all hear me telling the story wrong, you just get down in the comments, introduce yourself. I ask that y'all double tap the screen, like the video anyway. So they're chasing this guy down. He's an illegal immigrant. I'm not sure of the complete details of that part of the story, but the guy gets away. That's what we're. I think this is the important part of the story. The guy gets away from the ICE agent, okay? So he gets away from the ICE agent. However he's booking it, it's only one agent in pursuit of him, okay? So once he gets away from the agent, he's in an apartment complex. At that apartment complex, two people who, according to me, or according to the news, or according to the story, or according to anything, how does these two people have to do with ICE pursuing an illegal immigrant? It makes absolutely no sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I have almost never in my life seen so many random people that interested in what immigration or what any kind of law enforcement had going on. You might stand off. Good morning, Donnie. Good morning. I'm going to get down there in just a second. You might be standing off watching what law enforcement's doing, but that's not what's happening in Minneapolis and in Minnesota. That's why I'm saying a war, because these in the community, it's like the whole community united and they're going after ICE. So ICE, this agent, he chasing down this illegal immigrant, whether you for ICE or not. This is what I got to say, man, because when we get to the end of the story, everybody went home alive. and ICE got some real arrests. So you got. I'm just gonna be a straight shooter and tell the story how it is. So the ICE agent, he on top of this dude. Okay, two people who have nothing to do with this situation. They outside, and they got brooms and sticks and shovels. It's funny, but it's not funny. So they start attacking the ICE agent with brooms and sticks and shovels. Good morning, good morning. And y'all please double tap. Yeah, thank you, thank you. They beating on the ICE agents with brooms and sticks and shovels. 3 people against that one ICE agent. Now, this is a situation for ICE to where I believe this officer, how else can you handle it? Put yourself in a situation where you chasing down a legitimate illegal immigrant. That with Renee Good is completely different than this second shooting. It is completely different, 10,000% different. What illegal immigrants was on the scene with? That is ICE's job. That's what Border Patrol does. What illegal immigrant was on the scene when Renee Good got shot? 0. But in this situation, he was chasing down an illegal immigrant. ICE has to be able to do their jobs. Whether you agree with what President Trump or a Secretary Noem, whether you agree with the policy, that's one thing. But those officers who have that job, they're just coming to execute their job. You got to understand that. So what ends up happening is the ICE agent, he pulls out his weapon, he discharges his weapon, and the guy, the illegal immigrant who he was chasing in the first place, got shot in the leg. And I guess by that point, the other officers arrive, what have you. The agent, he's in the hospital, but he's alive. The agent's in the hospital, and he's alive. The immigrant is in the hospital, and whatever was going on, the agent was pursuing him. He's going to have to face that when he come out the hospital. But guess what, guys? He's alive. The 2 other people who attacked the agent, guess what, guys? They're in custody. They're alive. Everybody's alive. Everyone's alive. The right and the wrong will get settled out in court, and that's what we asking for. That's all we asking for. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to speak on this being the second shooting involving ICE. Man, there's so much stuff going on, bro. When I was looking, there's a guy, a young man, he was blinded by an ICE officer, guys. Being blinded by ICE officers. These are protesters. In most of these situations, these are not illegal immigrants that's ICE having. Bro, I'm saying there's, at some point, guys, good morning, Bailey, good morning. Y'all get down in the comments, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all double tap the screen, like the video. At some point, guys, there has to be a reckoning moment for President Trump, for Secretary Noem, or for Mr. Holman, anyone in his national security, anybody, to where you say, hey, man, listen, we having way too many incidents and situations with American citizens. It's not making no sense. ICE is not supposed to be enforcing laws on American citizens. Or is that the goal? You see what I'm saying? Is President Trump trying to have a secret police force that goes after liberals or people who oppose him? Is he using that tough rhetoric of enforcement in these democratic cities to bring out the liberals who oppose him so they could wreak havoc on their communities? Is that what's going on? Y'all get down in the comments and y'all let me know. Morning, good morning. Because what I'm saying is, in my mind and in my opinion, I just think that there is too many incidences with American citizens and ICE. ICE's enforcement is supposed to be on illegal immigrants. Let me tell y'all something. I heard a man say yesterday, and I don't want to call his name. He was on CNN and he's a Republican. He said what President Trump did, or what President Obama, did, is I told you he's crafty. I just didn't tell y'all as much detail, but listen to this, bro. This is smooth. What President Obama did is they were chilling by the border. He didn't have ICE in the middle of Minneapolis. Those raids were a lot smaller, a lot more contained. What President Obama and them did, they was chilling by the border. And they were looking for the illegals who had recently or freshly came over the border. That makes a lot of sense. You know why? Because those illegals are not in communities. Those illegals hadn't been a part and fabric of the community for 10 years. You coming in these, bro, I'm telling you, you go imagine if you in a church. You don't have to be in Minneapolis. Say you in Texas. Put it in a state, a red state, in Tennessee. And say you in the church, man, and say you saying you doing God's work. Y'all know how the churches is. They get an immigrant or somebody off the streets. And that immigrant comes in and accepts Christ and start doing God's work. They're just not legal. They haven't got no paperwork. Good person. Hard worker in the community, and ICE comes snatch them. You know listen, in a situation the way President Trump is running that immigration playbook, he's gonna have to get some kind of comprehensive reform. Because in my opinion, the way he's running that playbook, I'm just saying it's too volatile and it's too aggressive, it's too controversial, and I think it's gonna cost him with the voters. What you guys think, man? Bailey said Biden had a serious dereliction of duties. That is the root of the problems we are having now. That fact must be recognized. Yes, that fact must be recognized. But here's what I'm saying, though. President Trump is about to give a State of the Union address really soon. Okay? What you go up there and talk about? I think I did a live stream on this. What you go up there and talk about? I was talking about unity before this happened in Minneapolis. What you go up there and talk about? Because I'm saying, listen, y'all have to wake up. Republicans, wake up. There is an election in November. And President Trump might not be on the ballot, but let me tell you something. You better remember. What's wrong with y'all minds? Y'all can't remember. Do you remember? Do we got to pull back 2020? Do you remember the last time President Trump was president and Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House? Should I refresh your memory? That's coming again. Part 2, round 2. The Democrats have an opportunity to take over all of Congress. Not just the House of Representatives. We focusing on the House of Representatives, but if the Republicans muck this up bad enough, the Democrats could take the Senate as well. I'm saying since President Trump and the Republicans, I'm saying Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat is up. And it's like all the special elections, but all of the elections since President Trump won, it's like the Democrats have dominated. If they have not won, they have turned solid red districts to safe red districts and safe red districts to likely red districts. You do the math. If you look at the history of the midterms, the incumbent party is usually in trouble. So I'm saying, knowing the history of the midterms and the mentality of the way the American electorate works as a Republican, I'm saying, if you gonna do this, President Trump, if y'all Republicans want to be tough and bad and look strong, I'm saying, in my opinion, I don't think this is the year to do it. I think that's a mistake. You should have done that next year. That, in my opinion, that is way too controversial. Look, I'm going to tell you something it will do, though. It will charge up the base with some. But how many is some? Y'all heard Joe Rogan go said not too many days, maybe 2 or 3 days ago. It might have been on Tuesday on the live stream. You know what Ghost said? I said, ask Joe Rogan about what he thinks about what happened with that girl getting shot in the head. Not only because Joe Rogan has millions of listeners. Listen, you have a Republican or someone who's a conservative, maybe like Tucker Carlson, right? Or Charlie Kirk, rest in peace, how Charlie Kirk was, right? And then you have someone who's like Joe Rogan. The reason why Joe Rogan's so important because he's an independent. He's a known independent. So you would think, yeah, some conservatives listen, yeah, some, but the majority of the people probably listening to Joe Rogan are moderate. When you say that's a fair, you know what I'm saying? That's fair, right? He got a bunch of moderates listening to him. So that means that Joe Rogan is talking to independent and swing voters, the voters who decide the election, the voters who on the fence, those voters who voted for Obama and voted for President Trump and voted for Joe Biden and voted for George Bush. They're not voting by party. Listen, those kind of voters, I'm telling you, you and Trump, President Trump, I don't have to look at no polls. Y'all go look at the polls. Ghostwriter is the algorithm. President Trump is underwater with independents and with swing voters. And now, since I said that, you could go get Harry ETN, CNN, and Fox News. Y'all run y'all polls. I'm telling you, swing voters and independents nationwide, President Trump, after this week in Minnesota, is underwater, bruh. Underwater. If y'all ask America as a whole, I seen the polls. 57% of America oppose his immigration policies. You got 53%. I seen a poll on CNN. 53% of America said that was a murder. 53%. And I'm saying for the people who say, hey, I'm not going to vote against President Trump. I like President Trump. That's cool. His name ain't even on the ballot. You have your regular run-of-the-mill representative going against a Democrat. For Republicans, that has to be a nightmare for you guys. And to finish answering your question, Bailey, the only thing is that you're not going to be able to blame that on Joe Biden. Even though what you're saying is true, you got to think of how the voters think. And this man been president for a year. And we could talk about other stuff besides immigration. These problems are self-inflicted wounds. I'm saying problems, Bailey. And tell me where I'm wrong. Where my boy at? Donnie, I'm finna get your comment in just a second. Problems, Bailey, and problems, Donnie, that I would say that maybe aren't self-inflicted wounds and maybe might be a result of President Biden's administration, might be inflation, might be the cost of living. And those are problems that's going to cost Republicans in November high insurance premiums if they aren't fixed and addressed. But what I'm saying is this immigration stuff is not helping at all. It's like he's at war with the left. And these are American citizens. But you choosing to fight these battles and take them to war. And Bailey, you right. A lot of these problems, not only just with the economy, inflation, some of these problems with the border, or you could say all of these problems President Trump and them would say is President Biden's fault because they allow so many people in. You might be right. You might be correct. But let me tell you one thing for certain and two things for sure. Even if it is President Biden, it's been over a year. They're not the voters. I'm telling you what I know. Come November, with President Trump not even on the ballot, they're not going to impute any problem in America after he'd been president for almost 2 years come November. They're not going to impute any problems in America on Joe Biden. I'm telling you, that's a losing argument for Republicans. You have to take control of the situation. You are now the president. If someone could sit there and point to problems and issues, and this might not be the situation if we're talking about the new shooting that happened in Minneapolis, it might not be the situation for you to outline, you know what I'm saying, ICE's faults with the trainers not have the ICE agents not having enough training. Because that situation, I mean, all four people went home alive. What can you say? That should be good training. But what I'm saying is overall, the overall climate, those images on TV, boy, like a 20-year-old, he got one eye. One eye. Ice blinded his eye with the with the tear gas shooter. You can't blame that on Joe Biden. You might be right. It might be his fault. It might be the messed up policies. I'm not saying that you're not right, But I'm saying when I go to vote, man, I'm not going to be thinking nothing about what's happening in America is Joe Biden's fault. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. But that's 2022. You feel me? That's 2023. But this 2026 and this Trump's second term, you almost halfway through his second term. We ain't trying to hear nothing about no Joe Biden. We ain't trying to hear nothing about no Kamala Harris, baby. We want to hear about President Trump. He has decided on a certain parameter, I would use that word, of enforcement. As the executive, the president is he is the chief law enforcement officer in America. Congress makes the laws. He enforces the laws, okay? So he's saying they want to, Homeland Security say they're enforcing the laws, but you don't enforce that's not the way to do it. That's his style. He choosing that style. Like I said, President Obama deported more people than he did. And it's going to be hard to beat that 3 million number. And you know how he did it. He did it different. They were smart. He let them come across the border in some situations. President Trump is choosing to close the border. That's not how President Obama did it. He chose to let them come. And he had them border agents, them border patrol and ICE. He had them down there by the border. And he was picking them off in the desert. Picking them off. Yeah, that's smart. How you going to beat a strategy like that? I'm going to let as many of them come in as I can, and I'm going to snatch them so you know my number's going to be high. I think President Obama, wasn't he with the DREAM Act? Y'all correct me. Y'all remember the DREAM Act? Like he was saying the immigrants that were already in America. That's the problem President Trump is having right now. It's those immigrants that are already here in the community. If it's an immigrant who's been here for 4 months, 6 months, they don't really know nobody. You see what I'm saying? Unless you snatching them from an American citizen, if they just immigrants that's been in there illegal, they don't really know nobody. And I'm saying the way President Obama was doing them, he was snatching them at the border. You cannot beat that strategy. Listen. So say if you had they said President Biden let in 15 million immigrants. I think those numbers are kind of high, but say you let in 15 million immigrants. President Obama's strategy, I'm a beefing up the border more than that, because that just sounds like you opening up the gates. You just letting them all in. I'm a beefing up the border, so let's cut that in half. Let's say 7 million immigrants. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let them 7 million cross the border. And I'm going to have ICE and the Border Patrol, and we're going to just sit out in the desert for them, and we're going to pick them off when they come across. They're going to keep coming, and we're going to keep picking them. My number's going to be higher than yours, President Trump, because I ain't got to go in no communities and go fight no American citizens to try to get people who has been here for 20 years. Not only is he trying to get the ones that's been here for 20 years, he's trying to get the American citizens, the babies of those. You know, somebody been here 20 years, they got a baby, we consider them American citizen. He trying to deport them too. Yeah, you gonna get people coming out there with mace and fighting you with shovels and sticks. You get their neighbors. These are their friends. These people, but you know, so President Trump, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get down there, Donnie, I promise you. Look, say if President Trump, you and Melania, y'all go out there and y'all adopt a child and it's an immigrant. You feel that? Once you adopt that child, you build a relationship with that child, man. Let somebody say they gonna come and deport them. I don't care, the papers and stuff. Like you always got, okay, yeah, they are illegal. Yeah, you got to enforce the law. Yeah, you got to deport them. Yeah. But that's not going to matter with how people feel. They don't want you deporting their neighbor. They don't care if they got papers or not. That's how it works. People don't care. You ought to know this. You 70, 80 years old. People don't care. You see what I'm saying? They gonna want what they want, they gonna think what they think, and they gonna believe what they believe. And I think that's a problem President Trump having. It's a culture war. You see what I'm saying? That conservatism versus liberalism, and it looks like a war. That's what it looked like. But I'm saying I don't see how ICE is really doing their job. I'm saying President Trump, he want them numbers. He want to get past President Obama's numbers, but it's not going to happen. You spending the majority of your time fighting against American citizens. And then the strategy that he had to where he picking off the way he was getting the illegals that President Obama got, that's why his numbers are so much higher. Look, I'm going to let them come across the border and I'm going to snatch them. I'm going to let them come across and I'm going to snatch them. And I'm snatching and they're going back, snatching them and sending them back. That can be effective strategy. Them people who going back home, they telling people, they know, the immigrants who coming across, the drug mules, the cartels, they know. President Obama, he's snatching them. I done sent 10 immigrants. We done sent 10 people. We ran 10 trips and we only got 15 people across. We're usually, with them 15 trips, we'll usually have 500 minimum across the board. Oh yeah, he's snatching them. That was his style. That's his enforcement. So Bailey, to finish up, that's what I'm saying. President Trump is choosing this enforcement. If you say in March of 2025, he talking about Biden, and yeah, we'll listen to that. Come August of 2025, it's harder to listen to that. In 2026, we don't want to hear nothing about no Joe Biden. Yeah, you're right. But for Biden could say that he inherited Trump's problems. Every president say that. Trump said he inherited Obama's problems. Obama said he inherited Bush's problems. You get it? That's not a good enough excuse. That's the nature of the job. Every president inherits the previous president's problems. Every president goes through that. So that's not going to be a good enough excuse come 2 years after you've been in office, not with the voters. That's what I'm saying. You can't, anytime in politics, because I'm a laser focused Zoom, because I'm telling you, if the Republicans do not change course quick, a $2,000 stimulus check is not going to help you. I'm telling you, because I'm saying, right, every single one of those incidents, you are writing in the voters' mind who they're going to vote for. Independents and swing voters. Independents and swing voters. Those are who decide the election. So good morning, Titan Brew, my boy Donnie. Let me get to you, Donnie. He says, so they have another 11 months to do what they want. Utilize it. Why waste it dressing it up? I agree with that. 11 months, and you say utilizing it, but you say dress it up. Listen, Donnie, look, let me pin that comment, Donnie, because I don't know if that's what the Republicans was thinking, and I think that was a good point, Donnie. I think that's what the Republicans were thinking. If you guys have not liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell, okay? I think that is what the Republicans are thinking, Donnie, long-term strategy. When President Trump came in, Project 2025, this is Steve Bannon's, what he call it, flood the system or flood the market, whatever he call it. It's a strategy to where they were going to try to get everything they were going to try to get off their chest within the first year or the first 2 years, because they're aware of the resistance President Trump is going to face. So I understand that, Donnie. But what I'm saying, so if you're thinking like that and you're thinking, okay, we got 11 months to just do whatever we have to do, everything that you're doing, the Democrats are clocking it. Bro, I was sitting there watching. I forgot, Tom Homan was doing a lot of interviews, and Tom Homan, he's got a lot of experience as a lawman, so you would expect him to say the right things, and he was saying a lot of the right things after that Renee Good shooting, okay? But then I heard an interviewer ask him, she said, you got accepted a bag of cash from an FBI agent. What? He accepted a bag of cash from an FBI agent. Bro, you know good and well when the Democrats get some power and authority, they gonna charge him. They still talking about it. You know that officer who double tapped that boat? who they moved the unit, and we just forgot all about it. We had a big conversation about it a couple of weeks ago, whether or not that was illegal to double tap that vote. Y'all remember that? Well, the Democrats haven't forgot it. And you know why they not forgetting it? Because Mark Kelly having to sue the Pentagon. I'm saying it don't make you antagonizing them. You like President Trump, what happened with him and Nancy Pelosi, that's too much. That's why my advice for him is unity. My advice for JD Vance, I'm a political fighter. Like Jasmine for Texas, we finna do another episode really soon. I'm gonna tell her, is she a fight? That's what I believe. I can't tell President Trump that because he already got that fight in his mind. You need to tell him to chill. If you advise anybody advising President Trump, y'all need to advise him and tell President Trump your advice to him is chill at all times. Because I'm saying it's too much. Listen, Nancy Pelosi is just as powerful or more powerful. She's been there for 40 years. She got connections. Everybody he going overseas to meet, she already know if they're an old or new leader. You feel that? So what I'm saying is like, why would you want that kind of fight or beef? Like, you know that's not going to end good. You got to know that's not going to end good. Man, that's chaos. How can you get anything done? Oh, I'm upset, so I got to have retribution, so I want to have war against my political enemies. You know what a war is? President Trump, are y'all aware of what a war is? You want to change everything war. Department of War, sending troops to cities, so I can't send troops, so I'm sending ICE troops. I'm sending my own troops. He at war. I use that word. You say what happens in a war? People are dying. This is a culture war. It's a civil war. You see what I'm saying? There's different kinds of wars. In America, our language isn't as diverse. Like in Greek, they have different kinds of words for the one word. We use love. The love you have between your wife and the love you have for your son are not the same kind of loves. You get that? Well, it's different kind of wars. I'm saying it's being bloodshed. It's people dying. These are culture wars. You waging a culture war in society. For him, in his mind, he think it's probably necessary. Retribution. But I'm saying, how is that good for the American people? Is this what we voted for? And you always got to remember to get back to the conversation. I know I just did a little weave right there. Is that there's an election in November. And when them Democrats get power, when they get that gavel back, if they get the Senate, I'm saying it's going to be bad for they coming back. You know what a war is? That means somebody shooting at you too. You don't just take shots at people. They going to shoot back. That's what a war is. What a war is whenever you going to arrest an illegal immigrant, you should have a legal reason to arrest this guy. You have two people who are completely unaffiliated with the situation coming out with brooms and shovels to beat the immigration officer. It's almost funny. Somebody got shot, but they all lived. That's a culture war. What a culture war is when immigration show up in Minneapolis on somebody's block or in a neighborhood, and they got a car pull over. You know what you hear? That's the sound of a culture war, all those whistles, bro. That's weird stuff. When have I know people have opposed ICE. They opposed President Obama snatching all them people. Some people have opposed ICE. But what I'm saying is like, I've never seen it at this level. Never. That's why I said a war, a culture war. Yes, indeed. Those whistles are the sound of a culture war in America. Renee Good is a victim of a culture war in America. I don't care what it sound like to you, and we want to tamp it down. If you want to tamp it down, tamp it down. Left and the right. Left and the right. That's why I'm saying, if you advising President Trump, the way forward for him, all I could tell him is unity. President Trump. We got to bring it down. If you guys have not liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Bailey said Trump already got shot and his life is threatened on the daily. I know it. Not only that, if you guys have not heard, right before President Trump last night, he came out and said the Iranians are listening. I don't see how he could think that, we going to trust or listen to dictators or evil nations. But look, peace and calm. Okay. He said the Iranians are listening and they're not going to execute no civilians. The Iranians killed 2,500. I said 1,800 on the live stream yesterday. 2,500 according to CNN Plus. And they said they had guns. Protesters with guns. They shooting unarmed, innocent civilians, but they telling President Trump they were out there fighting ISIS. The Iranians are fighting terrorists, and they are the biggest sponsors of terrorists in the world. And President Trump, you know what? But right before that, Fox News reported that the Iranians said that they were going to assassinate President Trump again. They said he got away with one assassination, he won't get away with the next one. That's what the Iranians said, that they were going to assassinate President Trump. If President Trump attempted to attack them, that they were going to assassinate him. That's what they said. Bro, I've never, you got to understand the level, bro. I'm 45 years old. I'm not as old as some of these people. I'm in my prime. I've seen enough elections. I've seen enough at 45 to understand what's going on. I've never seen a level like when a nation just openly threatens to, I know it happened in American history. I know human behavior. I understand that. But I'm just saying, I think that a lot of this or most of this is avoidable. I really think it is. That's just my opinion. I'm saying if you want to wage war, though, you got to know its consequences. If you want to wage war, you know what a war is. I don't care what kind of war it is. I don't care if it's a culture war. There's going to be casualties in culture wars. Not just on their side. They coming back at you on your side, too. You have to be aware of this. You have to have the correct understanding and the correct wisdom. I would think if I was going against a group of people who I could not kill them all, you cannot kill all the Democrats. You cannot completely squash the other party, the other side of America. You cannot kill them all. If I was going against these people who I could not kill, I had an opponent who I could not completely extinguish. And the last time I went up against them, they almost assassinated me. They charged me with this many felonies. They almost put me in jail. I'm saying, you know that you cannot kill them all. You know you cannot hold the power. So you know whenever you lose power, you know what's going to happen. They're going to come back knocking, bro. You got to know this. You cannot be great. You will not win. You will not win without unity, some sort of unity. It's not going to happen, not for President Trump. And I know it's unfair, Bailey. I know it's unfair, Donnie. And I'm going to get down there in the comments with y'all. Y'all keep the comment. We're going to have a candid conversation. I know it's unfair, but it's just the way it is with President Trump. President Trump, the people who are for him are supercharged. Am I lying or not? The people who are against him are just as supercharged. That's just the nature of the game, guys. Somebody said Marco Rubio about to get a 5th job. I agree with that. A 6th job and a 7th job. You know what I'm saying? A 6th job and a 7th job. At the same time, you got Marco and JD Vance. If you guys have not heard, they over there in Greenland. Because President Trump talking about taking Greenland and disbanding NATO, man, I'm saying that's a lot going on, bro. I'm saying, President Trump, you fighting a war with more fronts than Bibi Netanyahu. Bibi Netanyahu, Israel surrounded on every side. President Trump, you fighting a war with you got so it's listen, it's something. God forbid the Iranians threaten to assassinate you, but I'm saying if you go over there and take Denmark, I'm saying like we wouldn't even know. Like you breaking up NATO, so you know they got mad. You know it's buffoons and idiots and mentally insane people, violent, criminally insane people, So in NATO and Europe, you're going to have people who mad at you, who want your nose in the dirt. You're going to have American military types who believe in the free world order that's been intact for 80 years that he's trying to rip up because he's saying you need Greenland. Like, what? You do not need... They saying, okay, y'all, we want to put 50,000 troops on Greenland. Conversation over. It's over with. Anything you need to do, the same deployment you have in Germany, you could put it in Greenland. And just how the history show, with that 50,000 troops in Germany, the United States has maintained peace and order in Europe for how many decades? Because Putin, he ain't finna, you know, he feel like Ukraine was a part of him. Putin ain't really trying to go that much further than Ukraine. Not with no regular American president. You're not going against NATO, bro. You got 50,000 troops in Germany at the ready. In Germany, you got submarines moving across the world. The American military, how many days it's gonna take one of them aircrafts to get anywhere in the world? I'm talking about weeks. Anywhere. So if the military obviously is telling him something about Greenland, it's a reason why y'all might think he cuckoo. He not. I know y'all Democrats think he cuckoo. Nah, the military is advising him about Greenland. It's a reason why he on Greenland so hard. 50,000 troops to get it. Gotta get it. Whatever you trying to do, you can't go over there and steal the Europeans' minerals and resources. You can't do that. You can't go around bullying your friends in other nations. You cannot act like that, bro. You gonna destroy not only the free world order, you gonna destroy, like, we gotta live with the America President Trump whenever you're not president no more. We gotta live with the consequences of your actions. Not only us, President Trump, think about Don Jr. Think about Ivanka. Think about them grandchildren. We got to live with the consequences of this, man. We don't want a whole bunch of enemies. We won't want to throw pain in our friend's face so we could get some money, bruh. No, that's not what we're trying to do. President Trump has gotten America a whole lot of money, and I think that's probably about good enough. Whatever you need to control Greenland for, 50,000 troops to do it. You don't need to take over the country and make it another colony of America. That's what we're trying to tell Xi Jinping not to do with Taiwan. And he feel like he got more stake with Taiwan, like the Danish feel like they got more stake with Greenland. We just gonna pick a country that's one of our allies and say, hey, we need the land, we finna come take it. What? You gotta be kidding me. Have to be kidding me, bruh. Oh, yeah, we need that land right there. We bigger and stronger than everybody. We gonna come take it, and then you gonna turn around and try to tell China not to do that. You gonna try to tell Putin, what you mad at Putin for? He just doing what you trying to do. Oh, I'm gonna go take Greenland. Well, what you fight? Don't end no. Why are you trying to end? The difference between Greenland and Ukraine, Greenland only got 30,000 people. They don't have no army. So it won't be no fight, but you're going to lose. You're going to break up NATO. Europe is all the way against this. All the way. The military might, no one hardly does. No one does. To stand up against the United States, they definitely would do that. But they just can't. Nobody can, but because you could beat them, you don't just go muscle out the country. That's not the way you do it. Y'all don't think I'm hating on President Trump. I'm independent. There's a lot of things President Trump has done that has been good. Yes, we do need Greenland. For some reason, the military telling him we need Greenland. A 50,000 troop deployment will cut. Whatever you're trying to do over there, 50,000 troops over there, do it. And we could kill it. We could leave it alone. NATO's still intact. If that's what I'm saying, it's a better way to do it. Guys, I started the stream by saying, if you guys have not heard, I know we've been streaming for 45 minutes. If you guys haven't liked the video, I ask y'all double tap the screen. If you're on a cell phone, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Anybody want to donate to the channel, support the channel, hit the button with the $ in it. Your donations are truly appreciated. What I was saying when I first came onto the live stream, guys, there's been another shooting involving an ICE agent in Minneapolis. The second in the same city in less than a week. This time, the ICE agent got out on foot and he was chasing a suspect who is an illegal immigrant. So this time he was right. First time situation with Renee Good, there was no illegal immigrants on the scene. That's a conversation I'm gonna have after this. This time he was chasing a legitimate illegal immigrant. Two people who had nothing to do, as far as I know. You guys could correct me down below in the comments in the situation. The guy ran to an apartment. I guess he looking for some help. He got the United States, the might of the madman. His private army, he got him on his heels. And he gonna go looking for some help, boy. You might as well lay down. You can't beat them boys. They come out with some brooms and some shovels. It's three people fighting against the United States with some brooms and some shovels. It's not funny, but thank the Lord, thank God everybody went home, bro. That's the way to do it. So they come out and they going at the ICE agent with brooms and shovel. They beating on them with brooms and shovel, What would you do? I got three people coming at me. This dude right here, I know he illegal. This is my job. And I got three people coming at me, brooms and shovels, in the dark time. I don't know what they got, what they doing. They could seriously hurt him with a shovel. You talking about two men? He could seriously get hurt. So he pulled out and he fired. And he shot the immigrant in the leg. What can you say wrong he did? What he did wrong this time? He shot the immigrant in the leg. The immigrant didn't die. He in the hospital. He gonna live. The ICE agent, he didn't die. He in the hospital. He gonna live. And the two people who attacked him, they in custody. ICE did a good job. But my whole argument to why I even did the live stream is it's like it's a culture war in America. There are so many images of ICE spending the majority of their time fighting against American citizens. Then they are actually grabbing immigrants and enforcing the law. You guys don't know the state of Minneapolis. The city of Minneapolis, the state of Minnesota, they have sued the Trump administration about that ICE enforcement. And there's been enough incidents in the city to where I think what happened, this is me, a Miller legal, paralegal, my legal opinion. What y'all seen happen to where, President Trump can't use no troops in no cities but D.C. The court allowed him to keep troops in California because there were protests already in Los Angeles. They're going to finish that mission, and he can't use no troops nowhere else in America. That conversation is dead. Well, what's finna happen? They going to handcuff him with ICE too. California already sued about using ICE. I'm telling you. And on top of that, if you guys didn't know, just to catch y'all up to speed, President Trump and them are motivated by statistics and numbers. Those ICE agents do not have as much training as they need. They have half the training that they need. This is my legal opinion, okay? They have half the training that's facts. Only 45 days. He throwing them out there, $50,000 bonus. Imagine you give me $50,000. You throwing me out before I know everything I need to know. And you telling me to go snatch. They train Border Patrol. They supposed to be training pretty much in non-urban areas. And you throwing them out there in urban situations saying go snatch. How many y'all get? It's a numbers game. Human beings now. How many y'all got? And you trying to chase Barack Obama's numbers, and you're not going to catch Obama because your style is wrong. The style that he had is wrong. He using the wrong style, y'all. The wrong style. Let's see. Insurrection Act over non-compliance. Listen, I want to address that a little bit, and if I'm saying it wrong, let me know. Listen, ain't nothing wrong. Oh yeah, with the Insurrection Act, but ain't nothing wrong with you trying to enforce the law. Listen, people out there trying to stand up against President Trump, Renee Good, bro, she violating the law. Whether or not you a Democrat, Republican, I don't care what you are, she was violating the law with her being out there, bro. She is impeding their investigation or impeding their whatever they got going on. She out there impeding it. That's different if I'm in my neighborhood and I got my friend, he's staying next door. We know ICE in the neighborhood. They trying to grab our friends, so we out there with the whistle. Hey, hey, you feel me? We blowing the whistle so everybody, but you at your house and your own. That's something a little bit different. I'm saying she not at home, according to Secretary Known, that they had seen her in different areas and locations, not necessarily having an incident with her. But the same thing with her just being around them, blowing whistles, doing whatever they was doing that day. You see what I'm saying? Agitating. So saying that she Renee Good, you can't, it's no one in here can say, listen, I heard someone make the argument. As a black man, if you have a federal agent come up to your car and tell you to get out the car, and you don't get out the car and you drive a moving vehicle towards officers, I don't care if he was directly in front of it or not, would you do that? Listen, I'm not making any light of Renee Good or what happened or the right or the wrong. I'm just saying, Ghost, who I am as a black man from Mississippi, I'm saying it's bad enough I wouldn't do that if the city cops pulled me over. Wouldn't do it if the county pulled me, and wouldn't do it with the state troop. You talking about you got federal agents out here in army fatigues. You feel what I'm saying? Where I'm from, you know it's only one thing we gonna do when we see that. We up out of here, bro. We gone. Bro, I'm saying you following these what? Bro, listen, I will say that though. I heard somebody say that do make a lot of sense. That's why you see what they did on January the 6th. Ain't no black people finna do that. I was surprised how they able to get on the Capitol in the first place. This dude up in here, Nancy Pelosi, he on World TV. You might as well say World TV. That wasn't national TV. Those images on January 6th, President Trump don't understand what that did to the rest of the world. They were like, what? You will never see that in America. This dude up here, he's sitting there with his feet propped up on Nancy Pelosi desk. Just a regular dude. He's sitting on her desk with his feet propped up. What? Bro, ain't no black men gonna do that. Ain't no black people. I don't think they were gonna let black people that close to the Capitol yet alone run up in it. So I'm saying, me as a black man, I was just thinking about that. Somebody said that made sense. I got ICE pulling me over. I'm saying once that ICE agent came up to the car, I heard him say, get out the car at least 3 times. You saying I heard someone say they were giving her confusing commands. Nah, bro, I heard that one ICE agent clearly like 3-4 times say, get out the car. You know he reaching in your door trying to unlock the door. You know he wants you to get out the car. This is a police officer. He ain't just an officer. This is a federal agent, boy. So you know, that car would have been in park. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would have been talking. So you know how the black dude did it? I would have been talking smack, bro. I would have been, y'all. I could post videos. I'll give him a lip thrashing now. I would have been beating him with this mouth. But I'm going to listen to them commands. I'm going to listen to them commands. So just the thought of you moving a vehicle in their direction, I'm saying me personally, I wouldn't have did that. Whether he right, he wrong, or indifferent, the court's going to have to decide eventually. I don't care if President Trump wants, the court's going to decide on that eventually. You see what I'm saying? President Trump and them ain't going to charge him, but if Minnesota can't get him, you know what I'm saying, eventually the Democrats going to bring him to justice or see if he was right or wrong. What I'm saying is ghostwriter, personal. I don't know any black people, none of us who would do anything like that. You gonna drive a car in the direct. First of all, if I see some federal agents down the street with their lights on, I'm gonna go the other way. Not just federal agents. If I could do it almost with any cops, well, I don't know. The city cops, I might just cruise by. You might flick your nose at a city cop. You might feel bad. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying you see a group of federal agents down the street, I'm not finna ride towards or into those agents. I'm gonna ride away from that. So there's a lot to be said about that situation with Renee Good and the level of respect that you should have for the authority. But President Trump can't say none of it. You know why? Because that's his little group that he pardoned or whatever, that what happened with January 6th when they ran up on the White House. That was his group. They believe in that. You pardon all them people who did that. President Trump, listen to me. How many people y'all here say this? Goes what Ghost finna say. President Trump, you pardon a group of people who were anarchists. That's the same thing Renee Good and them doing. They're doing the same thing the Proud Boys did that you pardoned. What's the difference? You see what I'm saying? It's just now that you president, they coming at you and it's about you and it's you, so you don't like it and you don't like them impeding your investigations. What happened January 6th? You was impeding those people you pardoned, they were impeding investigations. You called them good citizens. I don't care if you told them to do it or not. You wasn't against what they did because you pardoned them and you said they were good American patriots. So I'm saying now it's your turn to suffer the anarchy and the rebellion and people thumbing their nose at your officers, and you can't kill them. You can't kill them. Good morning, Brian C. Good morning. Brian C. says Congress and not the White House. Yeah, it is Congress. It's all about Congress, Brian C., though. It's all about Congress. It's all about Congress. Y'all don't understand the power that Congress have because you got a Republican who's the Speaker of the House and you have a Republican who's the majority whip. So you don't understand it. But all you got to do is just rewind back to 2020 and 2021. That was the last 2 years that President Trump was president and Nancy Pelosi, you had a Democrat who was the Speaker of the House. I'm saying we finna rewind that because you finna have Hakeem Jeffries, who's about to be a Speaker of the House. They voting in November of this year, this 2026 for some of y'all now. We almost halfway through January. We about to get through February. We about to be through with the State of the Union speech, man. November of this year. You got primaries coming up in March. Jasmine for Texas. If you guys don't know, I'm endorsing Jasmine Crockett for Senate in the state of Texas. You see what I'm saying? Guys, her primary March the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. That's like a few weeks away. It's that serious. So I'm saying we gotta like understand this, and you gotta realize that everything that you doing, Ghost, is a political strategist. So I'm gonna keep you focused on the prize. Because all y'all Republicans and all y'all who don't understand it, all I'm going to say is Secretary Rubio, do you remember 2020 and 2021? Vice President Vance, you remember 2020? Secretary Noem, do you remember 2020 and 2021, whether y'all work for the Trump administration or not? That's what America is set up. It's called checks and balances. Do we need a government lesson today? The court is supposed to check and balance all of them. That's why I'm glad I'm on this side of the government. You know what I'm saying? You got Congress, which consists of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and they're supposed to have checks and balances on Mr. President. You see what I'm saying? It's all supposed to work. So you say, Ghost, what you saying? So you will have a presidential election in 2024, and then in 2026, we're going to be able to check and balance that 2024 authority. It's going to be a check and a balance to that authority coming in November. The voters get to speak again. And this time when they speak, they're going to say, Mr. President, Mr. Trump, we either agree with what you're doing or we disagree with what you're doing. Checks and balances. Yes, indeed, guys. Checks and balances. We got an election coming up this November, y'all. This November. And so everything you see that's going on is going to be on the ballot. That girl, Renee Good, getting shot in her head, that's on the ballot. Healthcare premiums tripling, that's on the ballot. Cost of living, that's on the ballot. It's all on the ballot, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I am the way I am, because a lot of times, man, the Republicans, they have a really hard time. Any party, the incumbent party, has a hard time in the midterm election. King Flower said you got to either, let's see, politics with an independent first mindset. The parties are, bro, that is so true, y'all. That's so true. I think, listen, the independent party is going to be the party of the future. And that's just what I believe. Because I think Republicans, I think Democrats, I think young people will be tired of the lies that they're going to get from their political parties. Tired of it. Not only that, with the young people, you hear populists, listen, y'all listen to Steve Bannon these days and Bernie Sanders. I turned on Steve Bannon. I was like, this boy talking about taxing the rich. What? What he said? Who said tax the rich? Y'all might not know who Steve Bannon is. Steve Bannon wrote 2020 Project. He one of the authors. He one of President Trump. President Trump, he thinks highly of Steve Bannon, gave him. And Steve Bannon saying tax the rich. I couldn't believe it. That's the same thing Bernie Sanders saying. Now, these days, I won't say Candace as much because she's saying she's not really involved in politics, but like Tucker and them, Tucker's still speaking at the Turning Point rally, Turning Point, so he's still in politics. They're not supportive of Israel. Just like the Democrats not. I'm telling y'all, with the youth of America in 10 years, 20 years, I could see that old, like, because they call it populist in the Republican Party. I guess the Democrats just say progressive. I think with the youth, they're going to combine to that it be independent. The independence is the way to be in politics. Because it's just, there's things in each party to where I can't hold on or grab onto in both parties. There's corrupt people in both parties. There's liars and murderers in both parties. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you be an independent and just pick the candidate that you think works best. You know what I'm saying? Not hating on President Trump. As an independent, I said from the get-go, I supported VP Harris. And if you guys go back and listen to the live streams from during the election time, the reason why I said I supported VP Harris is because President Trump's governing style. I had a feeling that, he gonna come back in there and he ain't gonna be just too happy with what's going on, what was done to him. Retribution. You know what I'm saying? So we, as the American people, even those 47% of him who voted for them, their voice was louder than everyone else, than the other 53%. That 47% of people who voted for him, they got to blame themselves. We got to blame ourselves because we know that he was going to come back in there upset. Retribution. We know he was going to come back upset. So some of that is kind of like our fault, okay? I agree. If you can't stand to hear the other side, you are un-American. That I wouldn't call. Listen, we got to watch our words if we believe in unity. I wouldn't use that word because that's why they bumping heads, got Bloods and the Crips. You see what I'm saying? I wouldn't say they are un-American. They are un-American, but I would say not willing to hear both sides of the argument. That part right there is un-American. It really is, because American is two parties. American is a healthy debate. American is Republican and Democrat. So I watch Fox News. That's how I'm able to tell you these stories. That's how I'm able to tell you the Iranian people, the Iranian government threatened to assassinate President Trump. Bro, if you threaten to assassinate me, that's not gonna make me see y'all. That's not gonna make me fear you. That's not gonna make me slap you in your mouth. You threatening to assassinate me. I'm saying if it was any other president and these people over there saying they gonna assassinate our president, bro, come on, who gonna be on the Iranian side? But that might give President Trump some pause because you got a bunch of enemies. That's your own making. And see, you got to know what you got to know. Because, see, those Iranians, they connected too in ways you don't understand. It's a complex situation. It's very complex now. I'm watching my words. This ain't no conspiracy theory. Them Iranians, they connected too. The Iranians, they know some people in the Mossad too. The Mossad got snitches in Iran too, boy. You feel that? I'm saying it's a dirty game and it's a dirty world. President, he a little bit aware of what's going on. That made him pump his brakes. But a regular president like George Bush, that would have made him struck Iran in the mouth. What? President Trump still might do it. But I'm saying, you think they're not going to kill no protesters? Why are they trying to cut the internet off if they're not going to kill protesters? Why you ain't going to cut the internet off? Come on, man. My boy Brian C says Trump, Marco Rubio. Guys, I appreciate it, Brian C, for the donation. If you guys haven't liked the video, you on a cell phone, it's free to show love. Double tap your screen. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the channel so you could come in here and let your voice be heard. Hit that notification bell. Thank you for the love. Most importantly, Republicans, Independents, and Democrats, I want everybody. I want to hear what the Republicans saying and the Democrats saying and the Independents. Jump down in the comments. Let y'all voice be heard. Just be respectful. You see what I'm saying? Just like not hearing each one of this other side. Yeah, that is un-American. I wouldn't call the person un-American, but that is un-American. You just be respectful with the way you say it. That's all I ask. And if you guys want to donate to the channel like Brian C., you know what I'm saying? You guys can hit that button with that $sign in it. If y'all been commenting, y'all can hit that button with the $sign in it. If y'all want to give a free gift or something like that, your donations are much appreciated. Let's see. We outnumber our government. We have people on the inside. Man, that's a scary thought, man. That really is. Everybody, that's true. All of that's true, and that's scary for any politician. That's why, in my opinion, the way you govern is important. Like, who wants to make a whole bunch of enemies or political enemies? What's the point in that? And I'm not saying President Trump's goal was to listen, you got to understand, y'all know what he's been through. Because of what he's been through, his goal isn't to make political enemies. He think what he's doing is right. He think Nancy Pelosi and them are evil people. He think, they try to kill me. They try to lock me up. So he think he's just exercising justice on them. But just like he think that about Nancy Pelosi think he the most despicable. I heard her say he the most despicable human being in the world. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's not no unity. How can we go forward like that in America? I'm saying I never heard Nancy Pelosi say that about no other Republican president. She's been there since the 80s. She didn't say that about Ronald Reagan. Quite contrary. She didn't say that about neither Bush. The second Bush, he loved her to death. Loved Nancy Pelosi to death. She got in political fights with him too. That's what I'm saying, that extra stuff, that personal stuff. We got to get rid of that. President Trump, because you could be tough and not be rude or mean. You could be strong and not hurt weak or innocent people. Hurting weak and innocent people don't make you strong. See what I'm saying? You just got to have the right balance. Donnie says, he's talking to Timmy Tucker. He says, you mean tricking people who voted against releasing the Epstein files into voting for it? Why should I regret it? Ha ha, that's another thing. Listen, the Epstein files, the Democrats are going to continuously use the Epstein files against President Trump. I heard they sued over it again because they said not enough information has been released. That's another situation to where I felt like he didn't handle that right. Real talk. You know, this is ghost. I didn't vote for President Trump. So he ran 3 elections. I didn't vote for him none of the 3 times. Never voted for him. But at the same time, I'm independent. I don't disagree with a lot of things he does. Okay, listen. Guys, let's be real, okay? Let's just be real with each other just for a minute. I don't forget your political party. I'm going to teach you how to do that. Think about America. Think about the truth. That's what I think about, okay? Before, let's say, August of 2024. Well, they fixed it by then. August of 2023, did we have a problem with immigration? All across America. Y'all remember that they eating the cats and the dogs? So when they go to Ohio and you go to Ohio in the town hall, I see regular black people, regular white people complaining about the immigrants. Did we not have a problem with immigration in America in August of 2023? In my opinion, yes, we did. You feel that? So it's not what he's saying is wrong. I don't disagree with what he's saying. I don't disagree necessarily with his politics all the way. I guess there's a lot of me I got a lot of conservative in me. But the method in which he's doing it, yeah, I disagree with that. A lot of ways, a lot of times. And that's my whole situation with President Trump. It's his style. It's the style he chooses to govern in, that he chooses to govern in. You can't blame that on Obama. You can't blame that on Biden because he was your predecessor. Yeah, a lot of the problems that's wrong, he probably did create. But you choosing the style that you are governing in. You at any time he could change the style he governing in. I told y'all, he chasing President Obama's 3 million. Wasn't President Obama's number like 3 million? I think that's the number he looking for in 4 years. He want to deport 3 million people in 4 years. I think that's the goal. Obama, the deporter-in-chief, was deporting everybody. I told you what Obama did at the beginning of the stream. Obama wasn't going in communities deporting citizens. He wasn't going in the community deporting people who had been there for 25 years. If you take Sister Hernandez out the church, and she been in the church for 20 years. I don't care what kind of church it is. If you take Jeanette Sanchez, I'm saying, listen, President Trump, he had a lot of immigrants work for him at Trump Towers. I'm not hating on President Trump, but that's facts. President Trump done had a lot of immigrants working for him at Trump Tower. So this is my problem. Say this before any politics is going on. There's no politics going on. This is in let's say it's in 1999. And President Trump sitting on the board at Trump Towers with all them immigrants. And they come in here and say, hey, immigration customs, they just snatched like your whole housekeeping crew, President Trump. You don't think he gonna be upset if it happened to him? Because a lot of businesses hire immigrants in America. America is built off immigrants. You got to be cognizant of this. There's a whole lot of it's very complex. Governing is a lot. That's why you need 1,000 advisors. And not just any advisors, and not advisors who's to tell you the truth. It's not easy, bro. It's complex. You can have the Republicans, they could be saying something that's completely contradictory to what a Democrat's saying, and they both will be right. Just in different ways and different applications. It's complex, man. It's not, governing is not easy. You can't focus too much on enriching yourself or even enriching America. It's nothing wrong with enriching America, but the people are who you need to vote for you to continue to enrich yourself in America. And it don't look like President Trump. He might not have the people with him in November. And that's going to start being a problem for him in 2027. 2027 going to look like 2020 and 2028 going to look like 2020. I mean, Donnie says, Ghost, you forgot Democrat judges blocked Epstein file releases 3 times before the Democrats voted half a dozen to keep the files sealed until Trump was mentioned to be. Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true. That's the thing about ghostwriting. I don't care if the Democrats get mad at me or not. That's true, though. The majority of the people on the Epstein list are Democrats. Hey, President Trump used to be a Democrat. That's why he on there. I bet you Jeffrey Epstein was a Democrat. It's Republicans on there too, though. It's don't say no. I know Donnie, yeah, but the majority, a lot of Democrats on that Epstein list, though. A lot of them. I don't have to call no names. You know who you are. Just wicked. Just wicked. I'm saying, bro, if you in your 20s and you sleep with a 16-year-old girl or a 15-year-old girl, you see what I'm saying? But you in your 20s. I'm saying these are people my age sleeping with 13-year-olds. My age, 45. Sleeping with a 13-year-old. I ain't finna talk to no 13-year-old that's not kin to me. I'm not finna, what I'm gonna conversate with a 45-year-old single man. I could go get me a grown woman. You feel me? You could get you a 25-year-old, bro. Like, listen, what I want to, a 13-year-old, her chest look like a boy chest. She 13, 14. What you gonna do with a 14-year-old? Now I understand some of these 15-year-olds, they do look kind of like, yeah. And then their parents letting them dress like, yeah. And then they put that, yeah, inside you. I understand that. But you should get over that in your 20s. By the time you get 30, you shouldn't be messing with no girl under 21 years old. At 30, you shouldn't be messing with no girl younger than 21. So say you did mess with a 19-year-old at 33. That's not cool, though. It's not illegal. But past the 20s, past the 30s, we talking about getting into your mid-40s or 50 years old. What you doing with a 14-year-old? See, look, all the guys at the Epstein parties, they weren't messing with the 13-year-olds. Some of them were looking for college-age girls. Y'all got to realize that. You got to be fair, see it the way it's supposed to. There's a lot of college-age girls chilling at the Epstein party. College-age girls at the Epstein parties. And some of these dudes were looking for college-age girls, but not all of them. But I'm saying if you 50s, you shouldn't be looking for no 22-year-old. Because see, at an Epstein party, you're going to mess up. You drunk. And you came for the 22-year-old. He done bait and switched you. He got a little 14-year-old in there. What you going to do when you drunk? You shouldn't be in there messing with them little people anyway. Go get you a woman. Go where the women at. But these are leaders. Some of our leaders. A lot of our leaders got Epstein. They on the Epstein list. It's not funny, though, at all. It's sick. It's disgusting. Pedophiles. Leaders. It's unbelievable, man. If y'all haven't liked the video, I ask that y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. We all need Jesus, man. That's the problem. This whole world needs Jesus, man. Y'all can laugh at that all y'all want to. But I'm saying, like, if they were real Christians, they wouldn't be on no Epstein list. I know a whole bunch of real Christians, they not on no Epstein lists. I know real Christian men who hadn't even cheated on their wife. So you talking about Epstein list, you want to talk about righteousness. I know real Christian men who hadn't even cheated on their wife. I know some who said they didn't cheat and they cheated. I know some lying, and I know some who really ain't never cheated on their wife. A bunch of them. Some in politics, some you know. President Trump probably had a vice president who never cheated on his wife before. Yeah, Mississippi probably got a governor who never cheated on his wife before. I know for a fact before he became governor, he never did, and I don't think he did since. It's a lot of men who never cheat on their wife. They're real Christians. You know what I'm saying? Forget an Epstein list. What about the men who cheating on their wife? What about that list? Oh, you say, Ghost, you tripping now. Everybody gonna be on that list. All your favorite politicians on the cheating on your wife list. You see what I'm saying? That's why when you follow G, you ain't got to worry about being on the Epstein list. We gonna get on your head if you cheat on your wife. If you a single man like Ghost and you just out there sleeping with a bunch of random girls, we gonna get on you about that. And you single. That's the difference. Donnie says, why was Prince Andrew? Yeah, Prince Andrew was. Miss Lori Walsh, that's my girl. What's up, baby? How you doing? Thank you for your donation. She said, Ghost, tell them who you are all the time. Yeah, I try to do that, sweetheart. I try to be real with them. Because I know what we need, Miss Lori. This world, I told somebody the other day, this world needs love, man. That sounds so funny. It sounds so generic, but that's just what it is. We're not loving each other. We don't love each other, bruh. How we gonna watch Charlie? I can't get over. That's what endures me to Candace, because Charlie Kirk was her friend. How we gonna watch this man get shot in the neck, man? What? How we watch that? How we watch Renee Good get shot in the face? How are we watching that? ICE agent, how are we watching this? I'm saying we watched Louis Mangione walk down the United Healthcare CEO. I mean, you know, everybody was like, but that was still wrong. It's still evil. It's still murder. But I'm saying from that, we watching politicians getting executed. Another people getting shot, like that's becoming commonplace. It's like we trivializing, or we becoming accustomed to violence, man. From everywhere in our society, that's not good, man. This world is getting more and more evil as time goes on, y'all. It's getting more evil, whether you believe in God or not. If you don't believe in God, crime, whatever you want to call it, it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. We need a revival. And that revival, humanity and love. Everybody could take place in part in that. Humanity and love. But it's like we preach it to the choir, man. The violence getting worse. It's getting worse and worse. I don't see it getting no better, man. Miss Lori says, I'm working, just wanted to come in and bless you. That's why I love you, Miss Lori. You know what I'm saying? I got people like that, man, that I really feel, you know what I'm saying, special about, man. They supported me from day one, y'all. Y'all say what's up to Miss Lori. You know what I'm saying? Donnie, y'all, King, Fire, Miss Lori, she done supported me day one. She do that all the time, man. She just come in and just love on me. Somebody say Charlie Kirk was a white supremacist. Maybe he was. A white supremacist with a black girl as a best friend. How much of that stuff did Charlie Kirk believe about black women being not smart. Smart. Did you think that he really thought that black women wasn't as smart as white women? But he said Candace Owens was one of the smartest women we know. Candace Owens, she ain't black. She just bleached her skin like Michael Jackson, huh? Or not bleached it. She poured. What's the blackface? She poured. Come on, guys. So you think that he thought that black women weren't smart, or he thought Democratic black women weren't smart? How many Republican black women you heard Charlie Kirk speak against? Him saying that about Martin Luther King, that's just stupid. But it could be, how much of that is politics? You know, Turning Point USA is $100 million plus organization now. Probably be $1 billion organization by the time the next presidential election. So I'm saying he getting money to, that's why he probably ended up getting shot in the neck, because he decided not to go along with what they wanted him to go along and say what they wanted him to say. But some of that stuff he was just saying and going along. I'm not saying the stuff he said about Michelle Obama or any other black woman is completely despicable. But he a white supremacist, so you want to see him get shot in it. You want to see your political enemies get shot in their neck on national TV. That's what I'm saying. This world is getting wickeder and wickeder. Think about the time that we lived in Martin Luther King's time. And say if I was a white supremacist in the 60s, so I seen Martin Luther King get shot, so I'm going to be happy and celebrate that as a white supremacist in the 60s. I'm saying we supposed to be past that. So, okay, maybe he was a white supremacist. I don't want to see the man get shot in the neck on TV. Especially if President Trump, the president, that's his homie. It's like if he couldn't protect Charlie Kirk, which one of us is safe? That's his homie. You can't protect the dude who got y'all in power. I'm saying he picked most of his cabinet. Christie known the second because he picked her. Marco P. He picked his cabinet. I'm talking about the FBI director and the vice president calling him his friend, like his best friend, and you can't protect him. All y'all powerful people can't protect him. Which one of us are safe? I'm not necessarily talking about because he a white supremacist, because he a white supremacist. All white supremacists deserve to get shot in the neck. I don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to the idea that white supremacists get shot in the neck, because that white supremacist is a human being. And he got a mama, he got a daddy, and he got a family. Look, it's tough to get a white supremacist to stop being racist, but it's possible without killing them. How many of us know of former white supremacists or former racist people who was in the Ku Klux Klan who aren't racist no more? Y'all heard his testimony. How many of us know people like that? It's hard work. You don't shoot him in the neck. That's what I'm saying. That's evil. Even if he a white supremacist, don't shoot him in the neck. That's evil. Evil begets evil. You shoot him in the neck, you think it's okay. They're going to show, and they'll end up shooting you in the neck. It ain't funny, but I'm saying that's how that's going to go. You justify one person gets shot in the neck, they going to be shooting at you. Oh, Renee Good was supposed to be protesting. Don't shoot her in the face. That's evil. You don't just shoot people you disagree with. You don't shoot people for misdemeanors. You just don't shoot people. Don't kill people. Like, see, that we living in the consequences of what's them games they be playing, y'all, where they on there killing people. Not Grand Theft Auto. What's the other game they be playing? The one, I don't even know what it is. Real popular. Sniper. Bang, 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 bang. Louis Mangione. Y'all, you don't kill people. The Iranian people, they killed 2,500. So how many people in control? You got less than 100 people that's finna kill 20,000, yeah, kill them 100. That's how you do that. Kill them 100 to save them 25,000 more lives than that, because they gonna kill more people. The more they protest, the more. And look, President Trump just being fair about it. It's the American sanctions that got the people out there protesting right now. The American sanctions. He put some sanctions. He put some sanctions on them. He crippling them. And you know, President Trump, he big bully. He tell, hey, I'm going to put a tariff on you if you do business with him. Yeah, he crippling them. So he know that's why they out there protesting. So President Trump, I know they threaten your life, but if that's ghostwriter, if you want to smack somebody, yeah, you went and got Maduro. Well, they said Maduro used to sell, he was selling drugs. I done seen American presidents go snatch drug dealing presidents and drug dealing people, leaders in South America. That done happened plenty of times. So they said Maduro was selling drugs. That's why he went and snatched Maduro. That might be something a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, the Iranians, what they doing, that's just wickedness at its height. I'm saying you slaughtering. CNN reported they done killed over 2,500 people according to civil rights groups. And then yesterday, all of a sudden, they just, oh, President Trump, we ain't killing nobody else. And them 2,500 we killed, we fight, Iran, we against terrorism now. I don't know what happened. Just the day before, they would say, oh, we don't care. We going to discipline our people and we going to do this and we going to do this and everything else against President Trump. And then they came out with a statement, Fox News, this according to Fox News. They told President Trump, if you strike us, we going to assassinate you. And they posted a picture saying how that last assassination missed, like they claiming responsibility for an assassination. I don't know how much of that is smoke and mirrors or bluster, but Iran is claiming a responsibility for assassination attempt against President Trump. And after that, we heard President Trump, he came out and said, hey, the Iranians, they obeying and they listening. Oh, they listening now? Oh, okay. I feel you, Big Bubba. Because I'm saying, like, if he was President Obama, he probably wouldn't have even struck him anyway. I could give President Trump but I'm saying President Obama, like, I don't think he would think that Secret Service would roll over on him. President Trump, I think he might be on the fence on some, but that's because of what you're doing, man. President Trump fighting a war with more fronts than Bibi Netanyahu. And Bibi Netanyahu got this little small nation surrounded by 7, 8 nations. And President Trump fighting he got more opponents and more than Bibi. President Trump fighting a 30-front war. And you don't know which one of them enemies going to be the one that's going to try to touch you, because Iran came straight out and told him that they would try to assassinate him. And they posted a picture and they said they weren't going to miss this time. And it's sad to say that there's a lot of Americans who wouldn't care if he got somebody assassinated him. I don't think that somebody was on this live stream talking about getting rid of President Trump yesterday. I don't think that would be good for the United States. If our sitting leader, bro, if they assassinate President Trump, bro, we finna go. If we know that was a foreign nation, it's finna be World War 99. You think we gonna sit here quiet and you try to assassinate I don't care who did it. That's an American president. It don't matter if you like him or not. Y'all got to understand what that means. You can't side with the Iranians against your own. That's crazy. That's how you going to fall apart. You can't side with them against your... But that's the game. They play a dirty game. President Trump, he don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. It's a dirty world. That's the world they in. That's why y'all say, I'll never be nobody president. Never. That's crazy. I don't like politics like that. I love politics not enough to be in it. I know the right and wrong things to do. I studied it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you get an education in being a plumber. You know what I'm saying? You go to trade school, you gonna know how to fix them toilets and fix the unclog. You understand the workings, the mechanisms of plumbing. Because if you come as Ghost, I got a good idea. I see the pipes down and they running, and it can't be that hard. But I don't understand plumbing like a plumber. That's what I'm saying. I understand politics, so I could tell you what's right and what's wrong. When you go on the wrong road and the right road, some of his wisdom, though, just looking at him and the battles and the fights that President Trump has had over the years, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, let me get down in the comments. I missed some comments. Let me see if Miss Lori down there. Miss Lori working. She says she's just listening while she's working. Donnie says Kirk was killed by a gay furry. Y'all believe that? Y'all believe that how Charlie Kirk, y'all think that dude is the one who really murdered him? That's why I watch Candace, y'all. Candace don't think that she think if he killed him, he didn't act alone. And it's hard for me to believe. First of all, the story that the official story that the government gave is just a bunch of inconsistencies and questions that we have about that story. But you know what I'm saying? It's not the government's job to answer those kind of questions. I understand that, but it's just that, like, when you tell a story, you need to tell a story as clear as you can, because it's going to be conspiracies around the story. But I'm saying, do y'all believe completely the government's details on what happened to Charlie Kirk that day? Do y'all believe that? I'm not all the way sold. There's parts of that story that it just don't make sense to me. I'm not trying to investigate it. It's parts of JFK dying that don't make sense to me. I'm not an investigator. That's why I watch Candace, though. You feel me? Yeah, that's why I watch the ones who investigate. Y'all said, I heard Candace say she a conspiracy girl. Baby, you're not a conspiracy girl, no. That's why I said I would make the Black Nancy Grace. She needs to have a channel that investigates mysteries. Like, to me, that's what she is. She could be great at that. You know what I'm saying? Like, she can break down every single, like, my mind. Like, I could walk in the room and tell you what happened in that room. But I'm saying how she chasing down leads. You got to be really organized. It's not like a document. Like, she chasing facts down. Like, I just watched The Investigators. You see that? But yeah, like that story about Charlie Kirk was killed by a gay furry. I know that's what they say, but I don't know. I just think it's more to it than that. He might have been killed by a gay furry. I just think it's more to the official story. That's just what I'm saying. Let me get Titan Brew in there. He said, I'm not saying leaders aren't important. I'm saying certain people must have a leader. I don't. My life is going just fine. Listen, that is true. I don't know about having a leader. We all got leaders, though. President Trump is all of our leaders, whether we want to admit to it or not. He represents America. Bringing it down to a personal level, Governor Hochul is the leader of the state of New York. She is the state of New York's leader. In a situation where New York needs a leader, Governor Hochul is the leader of the state. In the city of New York has several leaders. One of the leaders, the major leaders, even in the entire Democratic Party here in New York, is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She is a leader. She's all the congressional, they're leaders. America's full of leaders. We all have to have leaders. That's a hierarchy that's set up in this world. It's not just America, it's across the entire world. There's a hierarchy. And that hierarchy teaches us to look up to God. I'm not going to try to get religious to you, but yeah, everything is done with leaders. My mama was my leader. And my daddy, your parents, those were your original leaders. You know, you ever see a little 2-year-old fart walking around, just wobble leg, you know what I'm saying? And they holding that hand, that mama is that leader. I'm looking at these ducks over there. You see them little baby ducks, and they following a leader. There's a big duck who in charge. You could tell the big males, he's standing off on the side. You know what I'm saying? He watching over his females and he watching over his babies. That's his leader. You see a lion, you see them big, and you could be over there with a packer and you don't see none but them females, and you might be over there, hailing them females, and you'll see that big adult lion come running at you, them 500 pounds of straight muscle with that big old mane, and them males, they mean. They real mean. They gotta fight. They fight other that's their leader. There's leaders all across society, culture, the world. You know what I'm saying? You might say a direct leader, you mean like somebody who's directly over you. I'm saying maybe if you look at it like that, but directly or indirectly, America and the world is full of leaders. There's full of leaders. Leaders everywhere, whether you can see them or not. I know how to submit to the powers that be. When a police officer pull me over, when he is correctly executing the law, that he's a power. That's the powers that be. You know what I'm saying? I know that he's just the enforcer of the law, but I know the power comes from the court. You see what I'm saying? He's an officer of the court. So you submit to the power of the court. Leaders, powers, authority, I understand all of this very well. You know what I'm saying? You know, I choose my leader to be Jesus, you know? But one way or another, you're going to have somebody with some kind of authority somewhere over you. If y'all haven't liked the video, please double tap subscribe to the channel for me. Man, Paul, we haven't seen Paul in here forever. Titan says if the majority are Democrats, they should be in prison with Trump too. The majority, I don't know if the majority are Democrats. You mean the majority across America? Maybe so. It ain't maybe so, definitely so. But that's just not the game. You got to play the game, the hand that you dealt. I was born a black man. When I was born, only 3 of the 4 chambers of my heart worked. You know what I'm saying? 4 or 5 years old, it was me, my mama, and my 2 sisters. That's it. Those the cards I'm dealt. You got to play them hand. I didn't play the hand good. I played the hand how I felt it was supposed to be played. Or I played the hand that I thought how it was fair. It wasn't fair. So I just threw my cards in and I went to prison. Yeah. You gotta play the hand that you dealt. The hand that you dealt, the majority of Democrat, that's the hand. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm playing the hand I'm dealt now, and that's going to be taking you to prison. The hand I'm dealt now, I'm going to take you to court. That's the hand that I'm dealt. You come mess with me, you going to court. Period. I don't care who you are. I'm going to take you to court. I'm going to sue the snot out of you. And anything you try to do to me, as soon as I see a judge, he going to throw it in the trash can. That's the hand that I'm dealt now. The hand that I dealt when I was in 20s, that was the hand I was dealt. You know what I'm saying? You got to play the hand that you dealt. Like, bruh, 22 times that I've been stopped or by the police, I would have been in jail. Been. Everything they do now is go to the trash can. It's the hands I was dealt in my 20s. It's a different hand God dealt me in my 40s. Where they try, the same thing happened to me in my 20s that happened to me in my 40s, and it's got completely different outcomes. Of course, in my 20s, they had legitimate charges. I was really like on drugs and doing illegal stuff, and I ain't doing nothing illegal now. So I don't know how you keep on pulling over people illegally, they're gonna end up doing something to you. Somebody is that's not sensical in America. You know what I'm saying? Somebody have to pay a price for that eventually. Let's see. I want to get everybody in here. Paul say, tell it like it is, my brother. Yeah, all my Americans, you know. Listen, I try to say this, though, bro. Like, I love both. I love Republicans and Democrats. Brian, see if he's still in the stream, he could tell you that I told y'all that Marco Rubio, bro, like when he ran for president, I supported him over President Trump. I still like Marco Rubio to this day. And he a Republican. You see what I'm saying? And at the same time, I like AOC. If I had, say if AOC won a nomination for the Democrats and Gavin Newsom was her vice president, Chapig. And your boy wanted Marco wanted for the Republicans to say Nikki Haley was his vice presidential pick. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm inclined to say with two candidates that I like equally as much. I can't say I like Marco as much as AOC though, but I do care. I am fond of him, and I'm fond of Nikki Haley. They two Republicans. With two candidates that I like equally as much, I'm gonna pick the candidate who fights for the people. That's why I'm fond of AOC. AOC is, you talk about a woman, you know what I'm saying? They around chasing 14-year-old girls. I'll be chasing AOC. You feel me? A grown woman with some money and some sense. If I'm going to chase some women, I'm going to chase AOC and Jasmine Crockett. I'm not going to be chasing no 14, 15-year-old. It ain't nothing I could do with a 14 or 15-year-old. But I'm saying, though, like, yeah, AOC might be a pretty female or attractive female, you know what I'm saying? And she got a large following on social media, but that's not the reason. The reason people support her is because she fights for the people. She has a reputation for fighting for the people. You might disagree with her politics. I don't agree with all her politics. You don't agree with all of nobody's politics. If your wife ran for political office, you wouldn't agree with all of her politics. You'll argue with your, come on, man. So no, I don't agree with all her politics, but I know as a candidate, as a representative for the, I know AOC gonna listen to me. I know AOC gonna fight for me. Yeah, so I'm saying we ain't all lucky enough to live in the Bronx. And to be able to pick up the phone and imagine if your representative was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Who your congressperson is? Most of us, we don't know who it's just a regular congressperson or a regular senator. They might do their job good. But imagine if was Jasmine Crockett, you had a rock star for a representative. Oh, they're going to have to stand on that name. If I lived in the Bronx, I'm going to be on the phone with AOC, boy. Her office, most definitely. That's what they do. They represent the people. And she fights for people. That's what makes me fond of these women. Because I just believe as a disabled veteran, like my chances or my life would be better with these women that I tell y'all I endorse or support. I endorse AOC, or I'm going to endorse AOC and support her for everything. It looks like AOC, if she runs for president, I think Kamala going to run for president. So it's two people that I like running for president. Who you pick in the primary, I don't pick. But whichever one wins, I'm going to endorse them. I'm going to support, but I want both of them to do good. Because those are the ones I like. You see what I'm saying? But I'm not going to, but that's how I pick my candidates, y'all. I don't pick by party. No party affair. I pick by who I think gonna do the best for me. Who I think gonna do the best for my mama and them. Who I think best gonna do the best for my church and them. Who I think gonna do the best for the community, for the American people. Who gonna really fight for the people. That's who I'm gonna pick. Those are the candidates that I support. You see what I'm saying? It don't matter if you're a Republican. It don't matter if you're a Democrat. I ain't hating on President Trump, but that first year his presidency looked like he for ICE because he gave them a lot of money. He got them doing a lot of dirty stuff, and he's standing behind them, and it looks like he for the businesses because he gave them a lot of money. Every time you see President Trump on TV, he got some billionaires with him. You see him at the table the other day, that long table, oil executives. He got Elon in them with him. What's up, Elon? Hey, I ain't hating on Elon, bro. I like Elon. Out of all the billionaires, Elon my favorite. Real talk. He really the only one that, the person that's that rich that I didn't bump shoulders with him, but had, some kind of indirect interactions with him. But Elon, yeah, man, out of all the ones, I say I like Elon the most. But Ghost ain't a person that just like billionaires. So Elon, you better feel special, boy, because you the only billionaire that I like. I promise, Elon, you the only billionaire I like, and it's probably because of how smart you are. You know what I'm saying? But I don't too much care for billionaires, but I don't like rich people too much, y'all. Guys, we've been streaming for about an hour and 50 minutes, y'all. We look like we got us about 10 minutes or so. You know what I'm saying? I try to keep the streams, the freestyle, the freestyle streams at 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to stream with y'all again, I'm going to just come on later. You know what I'm saying? Somebody told me I need a stream. Oh, I was streaming 10 hours a day. I'm not a streamer, though. You know what I'm saying? A streamer, they'll talk about anything with y'all. You know, someone like Academics, though, he might talk about, you know, like music or whatever, but a regular streamer like Kai or someone like Aiden or something, they'll just be chilling on the stream with y'all. When we talk, we talk about politics. You know what I'm saying? Or y'all, we could have streams talking about sports. We could talk about law. We could talk about life. We talk about Christianity and religion a lot as well. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, we just talk about politics, so I try to keep the streams right at 2 hours. If y'all want to, we'll talk about it later, man. You know what I'm saying? I think the reason Titan Brew, like, all of these people, they follow me. For Paul Silas, these people have followed me, like, from day one for the longest time. And I think one of the reasons why they do, man, they know I keep it 1,000, man. You know what I'm saying? If I was a Democrat, I would have a larger following, and you will have people who are loyal to you with you too. But the reason why, and here we have different Republicans, Democrats, and they stay as long is because I keep it 1,000. They know I'm gonna keep it 1,000. The people who are in this channel, they like hearing. They want to hear the truth. That's how I could say the people that watch Candace want to hear the truth. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's a different lane. It's a different style. And she had, you know what I'm saying, a lot of, I would say, I wouldn't say necessarily support. I would say, because she worked and earned what she did, man. She's a very entertaining person. But I say, you know, Candace, she was on the Daily Wire, you know what I'm saying? She was Charlie's best friend, you know. So she was in there. She's connected, man. But I'm saying her content, though, I rock with it. I watch Tucker sometimes, man. I watch Don Lemon. Think about that. Don Lemon and Tucker. Complete opposites. I watch both of them. That's Ghost. Who else gonna unify you? President Trump can't unify you. He bagging on the other side. He not watching them. Bro, I'm following Candace Owens and VP Harris on Instagram. That's just like with the Legal Wars Live Instagram, I'm following Marjorie Taylor Greene and AOC and Jasmine Crockett. That was before everything was blown under the water. I mean, was washed under the water, because AOC and Jasmine, they still, you know, as far as Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know, they bump heads with her. So they still got their views or opinions of her, even though she's not in Congress no more. You know what I'm saying? And she started moving to the center. So I think, you know, it's a lot of tempers to go down. But I'm saying I'm following Candace and VP Harris on Instagram. Like, two people having a beat. I'm a peacemaker, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a problem solver. I could solve any problem. Any problem put on my table, I could solve it. The way to solving problems is to admit that you don't know nothing. Not that I don't know everything, I don't know nothing. You feel what I'm saying? That's why I could solve a problem better than you. Because a lot of people ain't going to admit they don't know nothing. They really are arrogant. They really do have egos. They think they know everything. And ain't nobody in this world could know everything, and most of us don't know anything. And I'm one of the ones who don't know anything. That's why I'm so smart, because I realized that. I operate from them parameters. If y'all had liked the video, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Even if someone is on the Epstein files, unless there's evidence, that's Titan Brew. That's why I don't really talk about it that much. Because I understand, listen, President Trump said it's a hoax. It's not that it's a hoax. There's really a Jeffrey Epstein. There's really true, real victims of those crimes. But I'm saying bringing it up, just like they asking the Clintons, like I saw President, the Republicans now they on Bill Clinton. They release pictures of Bill Clinton and pools. Bro, we already know Bill Clinton was in power. Like that's an old man. Like that's just me, man. I just leave that stuff alone, me personally. And then even the people, some of the people who are on the list, we don't know what they did. We ain't never gonna find out. That's what I feel. That's why I feel like the reason I wouldn't try to investigate. First of all, I'm not his friend. Candace was his friend, but I feel like Candace ain't even. Candace might have an idea or have a suspect, a better story. She might, in the end, she gonna tell a better story than the FBI told us. But we ain't gonna know definitively. We'll never solve it. Definitively, we solved the murder of JFK definitively. You don't believe that story. You don't even believe the whole story with Martin Luther King. I heard a lot of people say J. Edgar Hoover was in on Martin Luther King's death. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, like, you can't definitively, you can't prove that he was, though. That's what I'm saying. Definitively, I think that's why I don't chase down conspiracies. Because if we ain't never got the JFK, how many years that's been, we ain't get the answers to it by now. We'll never get the answers. She'll be able to tell a better story than they told, but like how I want the proof, the evidence, the answers. We ain't gonna never be able to get it. They're gonna make sure that that's the same thing I think with Jeffrey Epstein. I don't think we'll never get the real true answers of the answers is dead. He dead. He already paid for it. So I think that's what President Trump and them, most of them, their problem was that, yeah, you might be on the Epstein list, it might be an Epstein list, but you don't know if these people guilty. It's a lot of stuff we don't know having to do with that situation. Y'all, we've been streaming for about 2 hours, an hour and 55 minutes. I had did a cruiser with Ghostwriter with y'all in a long time. Although, y'all, we pretty much, in the same place that we've been in, you know what I'm saying? So I was gonna tell y'all, like, come this spring or summer though, like I can't wait to do them outside live streams again, bro. It was like it's probably one of the funnest times that I've had, bro, since I've been grown. Coming on a live stream with y'all guys from a different location, traveling America, man. I promise y'all guys, like those are memories. It don't matter how hard or how difficult or the times that I went through and between times and underneath times, those times were some of the best times of my life. And I shared them right there with y'all. Miss Lori. You know what I'm saying? With Tight Brew and Paul Silas and Donnie, you new to the channel. Welcome, man. You know what I'm saying? If you guys haven't liked the video, make sure y'all double tap the screen, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, guys. It's been 1 minute and 57 seconds. Y'all know how we get down. Y'all want to donate to the channel, man? We could go for another hour, but if not, we usually do these freestyle live streams like this that we've been doing lately. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go for about 2 hours, y'all. So unless we get another donation, guys, we're going to end the stream when I get back. Thank y'all for showing up. Anything y'all got to say, y'all tell everybody bye. You know what I'm saying? Get y'all last hurrahs out. When I get back, we'll go ahead and end the stream. Man, y'all, it's still a little chilly out here in NY. I just want to let y'all know, man, I might be going away for about 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? About 3 weeks or so. You know what I'm saying? Not going away, but you know what I'm saying? Just to go focus on my health for a little bit. You know, that might be coming up real soon. So I'll have to get back with y'all and let y'all know, keep y'all informed. You know, less than a month's time. Just go, get some stuff organized in my personal life, because I got things to organize in my personal life. I got a lot of answers to give to other people, but as many of y'all know, I am a disabled veteran. I ain't making no excuses, and we just keep swinging and fighting to try to improve our own personal lives, and that's what I do. That being said, man, it's exactly 2 hours. I don't see no new donations on the board. Thanks to Miss Lori, of course, Brian C. Every time I'm live, almost Brian C. donate. To the person who gave the gift, I want to thank y'all. I appreciate it, man. I love each and every last one of y'all, man, who come in here and participate. And I wouldn't be myself without without getting off this live stream without telling y'all about Jesus Christ, because he is the whole answer to every problem we have. Can you imagine? There's a rare diamond, a rare stone. It's a blue stone. It's worth 100 million. And you and 2 other people in the world, y'all know about this $100 million stone. You spend 10 years looking for this stone. And then one day, a guy comes up to you and he gives you a map of where the stone is. So say you map out and you map it out and you map it out. It's an old, one of those old maps, hieroglyphic or whatever. But you done translated the map down and you shocked. Because you know why? You know where the stone is located? It's located at an address that you live at. The stone at your house. You can't believe it. And so you rush home real quick and you go in your mama's room and there it is. That blue $100 million stone. She had it the whole time. She didn't even know what it was worth. She didn't even know what it's worth. We searched the whole world for the answers of the world. We don't even know what it's worth. We got it right here. 66 books. I'm not no preacher. I'm not preaching a sermon. Y'all hear me in politics now. I'm telling you, the people who know me, I'm an ex-drug dealer, boy. Yeah. Ex-drug dealer. For selling them drugs, I paid the cost. I went to drug and alcohol in Greene County in Mississippi. That's the state penitentiary for 7 months. Rehabilitated. That happened in my early 20s. Yeah, ex-drug dealer. I'm an ex-pill popper. I used to be addicted to opioids. The people who know me, y'all know them Oxycontins. See, the difference between me and your preacher, I could speak their language. The preacher can't speak their language. I could speak their language. Y'all know them Oxycontins, them OC80s? We call them green monsters. I used to take an OC80 and I lick the coating off of it and I snort the whole thing straight up the nostrils. Yeah, a whole OC80, Opanas, all them drugs. I'm an ex-pill popper, pill snorter. His name is Jesus. That's real. His name is Jesus. Ask me when the last time, not snort a pill, an Oxycontin, I couldn't spell an Oxycontin no more. I hadn't seen him since Jesus. I hadn't seen an Oxycontin since Jesus. I hadn't seen it since Jesus. Listen, I got in situations even before I really got to where I used to sell drugs. One time I was in jail. And I told Jesus I'd never sell another drug. I made a promise before I was even a Christian. I swore before the Holy Spirit. You know how sacred that is. that I never sell another drug again. And I got put in a situation and I chose to buy the drugs and lose the money before I would give them away before I was selling. I was giving away the drugs because I wasn't selling. Because I made that promise. You see what I'm saying? I ain't never sold a drug ever since. Never will. I'm talking about being I'm talking about all the way down bad and broke, not a dollar to my name. And with the drugs right there, how to get the drugs and lose the drugs, I ain't never sold another drug again after I made that promise. Bro, I went to my 30s. I came back to church. I got to my 30s. I thought I knew something. You know, when people first come back to Jesus, they think they know something. They on fire for God. I went back to the church around the people who had been living for God the whole time. I was out there in the streets acting crazy. And I'm trying to tell them how to live. You feel me? I didn't know nothing. And I had to learn that I didn't know nothing. I ended up getting saved. But I'm saying, even through them periods and time of my learning, remember that blue diamond, that blue stone? It's here the whole time. We looking for the answers. That's the thing about goals. You know, it's a few geniuses in this world. It's a few geniuses that our government is aware of. Bunch of geniuses. They probably keeping eyes and gatekeeping all the geniuses for a long time. But this one genius right here, who probably smarter than y'all, and it's not because of my intellectual prowess, because like I said, I got a disability. So it's quite contrary. That disability is holding me down from getting where Elon got. Elon don't have the disability I got. No excuse, just facts. But it's one thing that's going to make me smarter than my fellow geniuses. And it's what's in my hand. Because I realized that. I'm trying to listen. Not preaching no sermon, just being real. Everything that you've been told to do in life or not to do in life, what's wrong with the things that the way Jesus told us to live? If you live the way Jesus told you to live, how many problems would, I mean, all the way like he told you to live, not how the preacher lived. Not how brother, sister, so-and-so lived, the choir leader lived. We talking about the deacon lived. We talking about how Jesus, all the way like Jesus lived. Not like Mother Teresa. Not like Michael Jordan. Not like your hero, your idol, like Jesus lived. You telling me if we all live like Jesus lived, this world wouldn't be a better place? If we live like Jesus lived, we could cure any problem that there ever was in this world. Any problem. The answer's right in our face. Ain't nobody want it. You out there looking for the blue stone and the blue stone in your mama room the whole time. All the answers is right here. It's millions of us know it. But those millions can't overcome the billions who are in the dark. All the answers is right here. Man, listen, I don't know the Bible like I should, but I could do this. You see what I'm saying? I could do this. You can too. You could do this. Watch this. Let me do this real quick. So I'm going to tell you about Ecclesiastes. We're going to go to Ecclesiastes. It's right before the Song of Solomon. And I'm going to tell you about, in Ecclesiastes, a wise man. Let me tell you about this wise man. This is the wisest man that ever lived on this earth, okay? Hold on a second. Let me read something to you real quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 2. Okay? So, the preacher, the son of David, okay, he looking for wisdom. Real talk. He looking for wisdom. So he out there trying to acquire knowledge and wisdom. And he telling you what he doing. Ecclesiastes chapter 2. Okay? He said in verse 14, he said, the wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walketh in darkness. And I myself perceived also that one event happeneth to them all. Then said I in my heart, as it happened to the fool, so it happened even to me. What he's saying, just what the same thing that happened to the fools happened to you smart people too. This way, you got to think about how long ago this was written. That's why the Bible's still the number one seller, because this is prevalent to even till today, even if it was written 2,000 years ago. Look, he said, and why was I then more wise? Then I said in my heart that this is also vanity. For there is no remembrance of the wise more than the fool forever. Seeing that which now is in the days to come shall be forgotten. And how dieth the wise man? As the fool. How if you Adolf Hitler and Abraham Lincoln died the same way, they remembered the same way. That's what he's saying. That's a deeper level of thought. He's saying even if you famous or even if you hated, remembered the same way. He said, therefore I hateth life, because the work that is wrought under the sun is grievous unto me. For all is vanity and vexation of spirit. All of it's vanity. Y'all know what vanity means, right? It's worthless. Yeah, I hated all the labor that I had taken under the sun. People saying, go to work, go to work, go to work. Well, the wisest man ever lived said it's vanity. He said, because I shall leave it unto the man that shall be after me. What? Elon, how much you worth, baby? How much you gonna take with you? You gonna leave it to the man that shall be after you. So the wisest man that ever lived, the genius of all geniuses, said it's worthless. It means nothing. That's what he's saying. Therefore, I went to cause my heart to despair all the labor that I took under the sun. Why should I work? For there is a man whose labor is in wisdom and in knowledge and in equity. Yet to a man that hath not labored therein shall he leave it for his portion. He said, this is vanity and a great evil. For what hath the man of all his labor and of the vexation of his heart, wherein he hath labored under the sun? For all his days are sorrows and his travail grief, yea, his heart taketh not rest in the night. This is also vanity. There is nothing better for a man than that he should eat and drink, and that should make his soul enjoy good in his labor. This I saw, that is from the hand of God. For who can eat, and who else can hasten hereunto more than I? For God giveth to a man that is good in his sight wisdom and knowledge and joy. But to the sinner he giveth travail to gather and to heap up, and he might give to him that is good before God. That is vanity and vexation of spirit. Bruh, at the end of it, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for that's the whole duty of man. It's so easy. See, for a Christian, it's so easy. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. What matter? Life. Fear God and keep his commandments. That's the whole duty of man. For God shall bring into judgment with every secret thing. Yeah. You got some secrets that God don't know about. Been cheating on your wife? Your wife don't know about? You done killed somebody before. whether it be good or whether it be evil. Conclusion of the whole matter. Right in front of us, the whole time. Our answers. That's our answers to life. Right in front of us at the whole time. Jesus gave us an example of a human, of how to live. Imagine if you was a god and you had some creatures. I'm looking at these seagulls. I like these seagulls, my favorite birds. Imagine if I created some seagulls and these seagulls were like my creatures. And say I gave these seagulls a set of rules and I looked after I created the seagulls and the seagulls, they weren't living by my rules. I was having to destroy them. They were defective. Say it grieved me so much, so I wanted to show them how to really live and be a seagull, so I became a seagull to show them. Jesus became a human. The Creator became a man, a human to show us how to live. That was the purpose of his life, was an instruction manual. That's your answers. I don't want to hear nothing changes a man besides the blood, the precious blood of the Lord Jesus Christ. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, because this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring into judgment every work, every secret thing, whether it be good and evil. He gonna properly weigh our works. You know how you get outside of that judgment? By accepting the blood of Jesus. Jesus paid that penalty. This is what makes me smarter than people. I might not even be a full genius. I might just be like a 3/4 genius. But I have a certain wisdom. I was taught from 5 years old, 3 times a week. Preacher, he in debt teaching. I'm talking about in depth. It's like I went to church almost as much as I went to school, so I learned about God and Jesus and right and wrong and morality. I got a really good memory too. I remember a lot of sermons, a lot of different teachings, a lot of different incidents that I had in my life, man. I'm rock solid in what I believe at 45. I'm not in lockstep with really, I don't go to church at all. I ain't been to church in I don't know how long. If you love me, what you gonna do? You gonna keep my commandments. I see a beautiful girl pull up to me right now. I'm talking about her and that pretty little baby, and she bent over that, and I'm just looking at her like, man, she need to be in this. She fits in this BMW. You feel me? Hey, girl, I'm just looking at you, and y'all fit in this BMW with me. And the old me, you could ask almost anybody you know me, even if she wasn't my girlfriend. When I talk like that, she was in the car with me. Little green Civic. They remember all them girls. Like, yeah, that's what will happen. Even if she wasn't my girlfriend, she just be my homegirl, my friend. I just wanted to ride with me. She ride. We ride now. But I don't do that no more. I was telling y'all the drugs I did. That's Jesus, man. One day, man. Listen. It's easy, but you just follow and you believe. You just follow the commandments and you believe. You got to be at a place though where you at the end of yourself, where you tired of your sins, you tired of your lies, or you see the damage that your lies cause. You got to be able to understand the weight of your sins. So a lot of people, they think they ain't that bad. They be like, I ain't that bad. You know, I ain't like you was, Ghost. You used to sell drugs and stuff. I ain't never sold no drugs. Ghost, you used to have sex with multiple girls and stuff. I ain't never had sex with no multiple girls. Ghost, you used to, I ain't never did that, so maybe I don't. Yeah, the Bible said all have sinned. We all have done wrong. If you told one lie, then you're not worthy of God. You got to understand God has never lied. What reason God got to lie to you or me? You can't even see God with your own eyes. Go out, where God at? Show me a picture of God. Point him out here to me. I know where he at, though. But I'm just saying to you, you see what I'm saying? You can't even see God. How you going to lie and you can't even see him? You feel me? He perfect. We not perfect. We needed a savior, and we got one, Jesus. And he told us how to live. He came to this earth and he lived a life. And all you have to do is emulate his life. And such is salvation. You know what I'm saying? You got to come to a time where you got to be tired of your sins. And when you come to that point, then that's how you could get saved. Because you go to God and you ask him for forgiveness and you go to him in prayer. It needs to be a time, a moment in your life with one prayer. When you praying to God now, we ain't talking about something you did when you were 5 years old. We talking about a prayer you prayed to God, you asked God to forgive you of your sins. You repented to him for your sins. You let him know you were sorry for your sins. That contrite spirit, you have a spirit of forgiveness when you praying now. You got to let God know you accept his sacrifice on the cross. That blood that Jesus shed washes away my sins. When we say blood wash away your sins, literally cleanses my sin. Because Jesus died on the... You got to understand Hebrew customs during that time. Jewish customs. That's just what was taught and what was believed. That blood... that sacrifice from that lamb, that blood had to be slain. That's the only way that sins could be forgiven. They used to sacrifice lambs. Jesus was the new lamb. You don't have to kill no sheep no more. Jesus was the lamb. He's a symbol of when y'all used to sacrifice those lambs. He is the sacrifice. So when Jesus died for my sins 2,000 years ago, he died for every sin I ever committed. That's why when Paul say he can't sin, that's what he mean. After he been washed in that blood, that regard all things, there's no sins he can for. How you could? It don't make sense. How can you commit a sin after you've been washed in the blood? We just get caught in moments and we get caught in time and we get caught in a lot of things in our own thoughts and our own minds. And you got to learn how to let go and let it expand. You let God fill the space in your mind. That's how you get saved, man. Bruh, I don't know how many times I made a profession where I prayed to God, asked me to save me, but I didn't get saved. That's scary. You could say that you could go pray and you don't know if you saved. Yes, you will when you get saved because you're going to believe. It's called faith. You believe. Well, Ghost, you believe you were saved before and you weren't saved before. You are correct, but God is faithful. He is faithful. I had to come to an understanding of God. It was a lot of things. My mama told me I lacketh understanding. I'll never forget that a long time ago. It was a lot of understanding that I did not have that I had to come to understanding. When I come to understanding of Christ in 2018, in August of 2018, I remember the incidents. I remember the prayer that I prayed that saved me. All those prayers I prayed before and I didn't get saved. I remember the prayer that I prayed that I thought saved me, and I remember the prayer that saved me. Them the only two. Because the prayer that I prayed that thought saved me in 2011, that's when my life changed. My first 31 years, I threw it in the trash can. It was at 31, I'm really 34 years old. When you 18, give me 14 years from 18 years old. I'm 32 right now. That's how in my mind I seem like. Because from 18 to 31, now that whole thing was in the trash. The only thing I could count out of there is maybe a year and a half in the military, 2 years in the military, and maybe a year worth of working somewhere else. The rest of that was trash. I didn't even get a place, my own place to stay till I was 31. Not for real, for real. I was wide open, partying, drugging, whatever. That's why I got out the military. I was wilding, bro. I needed a savior. We all do, but I definitely did. I got saved, all that changed, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm still the person I am. I still got a disability. I'm still got problems. You do too. You just don't understand your problem. You don't want nobody talking about your problems. You don't want nobody focusing on your problems, but you got problems too. We all do. I just real, man. I tell it like it is, man. That's what people need. People need Jesus, man. That's what they need. That's what's going to change everything in the world. That's everything that you need, you don't want. That's usually how it is in life. And what you want, you usually don't need. I promise you, we need Jesus, man. If you live like that, then we gonna have a whole lot less problems in this world. Charlie Kirk wouldn't get his neck shot, especially when half the people in Turning Point are like supposed to be Christians and ministers and stuff. But the boy getting his neck shot, and Candace saying that y'all got something to do with it. I kind of believe what she's saying. She was over there hanging with him, doing the stuff with him. Why she gonna be lying? She ain't doing that for views. She could tell any kind of story for views, bruh. She used to hang with him. Everybody gonna cash in money that used to hang with him. People want to hear what you got to say. That ain't nothing at all. And what she's saying made plenty of sense. And she's saying that might have had something to do with backdooring. You see, when you get Jesus for real, the Bible talk about people who gonna stand before God talking about they can't, Lord, have I not prophesied in thy name? Cast out devils, done many wonderful works, and God gonna tell them, I never knew you. Depart from thee, ye that worketh iniquity. On my Instagram story, I said that when God, Jesus, the only time we seen him mad in the Bible with religious people, the ones who killed him? Yeah, the religious ones. He told them, he went in the church, he flipped over the tables, he told them they are of the father, the devil. There's two things he said the reason why. Murderers and liars. He said you were murderer. He talking about your father, Lucifer, was a murderer. Remember Cain and Abel? Y'all know the children of Cain? You can't say nobody is a descendant of Cain and they not doing what Cain did. Cain was a murderer. So if you know a murderer, they probably the descendant of Cain, because that's what Cain did. He murdered. And his children murdered. That's why Jesus, when he went in the temple and he told them, yeah, your father the devil, you look for the reason why. I know. That's how I write them cases. Why are they of their father the devil? He named the first two crimes he named was murder and you don't abide not in the truth. That means you a liar. You a murderer and a liar. That's what Jesus, that's how I'm identify a religious person who is really of the devil. That's what Jesus did. How you different? How else you know how to identify a religious person who ain't really saved? You so wise. That's why y'all not smart. I'm going to go to that book. I'm going to go to a law book. I'm going to go to a book. You doing it how you thinking, what you thinking your mama told you. I'm going to go to the book, and that's how I'm going to do it. And I go in the book and how Jesus identifies a religious person who faking. He said, he called them, remember he went in the temple, he flipped over the tables. Go get the Bible. Ye of your father the devil, and he identified two sins, a murderer and a liar. So if we murdering people, we are of our father the devil. You the descendants of Cain. Gee, God don't want you murdering people, man. And he don't like them lies you be telling. I'll just tell y'all this because I love y'all. Everybody. Let's go for everybody. He don't like the stuff I do wrong either. I just sin different. I don't say no murder and I don't lie, but he don't like the stuff I do either. I ain't no different than you. That's the thing about me. I know I ain't no different than nobody. None of us are. Jesus loved every last one of us, man. All you got to do is truly ask him to truly forgive you of your sins. And when you follow him, follow him. Don't follow nothing that the church tells you. Yeah, the church is important, but like that, I'm going to follow the scripture. I'm not going to follow no church. I'm going to follow the scripture. You need to follow what your preacher, if you under your preacher, you got to listen to him too now. That's part, you got to listen to your preacher. If you under a preacher. But I'm saying like, I'm going to follow what Jesus said. That's what I follow. I'm not perfect, man. They call my God a wine bibber. They call Jesus a wine bibber. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying for me and how I know I'm going to heaven and how I could profess Christ to y'all is off of what I tell y'all is them scriptures. I ask God to forgive. I ask for forgiveness of my sins in the prayer. I remember the prayer explicitly. I remember the prayer before the prayer and the prayer what I got up believing that saved me. I asked him to forgive me of my sins. I remember reading the scripture, and the scripture that I read, the part in the Bible that made me realize I wasn't saved and I thought I was. I remember all of it, like yesterday. Clear-minded about it. I prayed and I read in the scripture, and I'm saying I asked God to forgive me of my sins. I was a serial fornicator. When I got to my 30s, after I made that first profession, this is how I knew I was lost. After I made that profession, I had sex more times than I did before I even was saved. That's how I knew I was lost. I'm talking about before I got saved at 31 years old, I had sex about 100 times. Right under 100 times. And then from 31 years old to when I really got saved at 38 years old, I had sex about 130, 140 times. I had sex more times, considerably more times, in a shorter amount of time, period of time after I made profession than I did when I was lost. That's how I knew I wasn't saved. Yeah. Year of your father, the devil. You ain't going to be doing all that fornicating and you got the spirit of Christ in you. So if any of y'all out there fornicators, you might need to reconsider your salvation or your thought, what you think you got. Because you can't be doing that. A certain kind of sins you can't be doing now. It's written in the Bible, not in scripture. That's what I believe. It's real. That's that real Christianity. That might be too real for some of y'all, but it's all scripture. I'm not going to over-condemn you, though. I'm not going to condemn you at all. You know what you're doing. I ain't going to be... I don't even talk to people like that. Not face-to-face. Because what you're doing, I really don't care. I'm going to just tell you what the scriptures say. You know what I'm saying? Certain sins that you do, if you read the Bible, you're going to understand the mind of God. That's what you need to do. You need to start. If you're not saved, you could really do this without a preacher. I think you could get saved just reading the Bible. If you smart enough person, you start in Matthew and you go to Revelations and you're going to get to know, at least you're going to know Jesus. Reading the Old Testament, you get to know God. But that New Testament, you're going to know Jesus and that's his instructions for life. Let every man have one woman. And he tell us not to to have sex before marriage. I'm saying all these scriptures are in, and that's how you know that, because it's in the Bible. You feel that? So I mean, we ain't nobody gonna be perfect. It's about your relationship. It's about a relationship. You want to get a relationship with God. It's more about a relationship than anything else. You get a relationship with God. You feel that? So I don't know, man. That's all I got, man. I spent about 20 minutes giving y'all some of my testimony. You know, I always try to tell people, man, how to accept Jesus. You know, if I come on a live stream later today or tomorrow or something like that, you know, I might not be as descriptive. I'm not a preacher, but I always got to tell you guys that I'm a Christian, man. Real talk. I always got to tell you what I believe. And what I believe is based solely and primarily on scriptures. I'm not saying if you fornicated that you're not a Christian. That's not what I'm saying. I could just tell you what the scriptures say. You know? And people who God say not to eat with people who, you know, adulterers. You sleeping with somebody else's husband or wife. That's not right. If you married, I'm single. I'm not going to sleep with no married. God forbid I sleep with any female, but I'm not above it. As a single man, I'm not above nothing. You ain't either. You just might think you are. You know, if you 80, you might be above it. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't above nothing either. 45 years old, looking as good as I. Nah, let me stop. I'm not above it. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, you know, people who, I kind of lost my train of thought, people wallowing in those sins and just saying like, nah, it ain't. Since I've been saved, I done made some mistakes, but I catch that mistake and I correct it and I end it. That's what you do. You know, if you tell a lie, you catch the lie. Don't keep telling the same lie. You done told the fish story. You went out there to Hudson River and you caught you a little 6-inch little minnow. You telling that lie. You done caught you a foot long. So you done told a lie to Jeffro. Now alfalfa will come around here. So now you got to tell the lie to alfalfa knowing you caught you a minnow. Bro, the fish you caught, you didn't even know. You thought it was the bait. You thought it was the worm. It was so small. Little minnow. And you out here telling alfalfa now. Here comes SpongeBob. You telling SpongeBob that same lie. You see what I'm saying? You got to keep telling that lie. What I'm saying is like, you got, as a Christian, you got, the Bible said that if you sin, there's an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous. You got to cut that stuff off. You got to get that right, man. You know? Y'all see how that live stream dwindle all the way down, boy. You start talking about you get into it. I'm not no preacher, though. I can't condemn you of your sins or doing right or wrong or none of that. I'm just saying I have a real brand of Christianity that I believe in. Even with me believing in a real Christian brand of Christianity, it's people that attack me all the time still. Like, I get on here, bro. It's some people think, you know, they might think highly of me or whatever. It's people attack me all the time still. So all you could do is just get out there, man, just live your life, man, and just try to do the best you can. Once you accepted Jesus, you know, just try to live how Jesus lived. Man, I appreciate y'all. Titan Brew, you rocked it to the end, man. I didn't see my girl smash. So if y'all bump to Smashley somewhere on YouTube today and somebody's other conversation in the chat. Y'all just tell Smashley, hey, where y'all Ghost said he was looking for you on Legal Wars Live. Y'all, that's my time, man. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I told you why I'm a Christian, why I believe in God. Gave y'all a little bit of my testimony. Every day I wake up, man, I suffer with depression and anxiety, man. Every day I wake up, man, I stand up, man. In my mind and my heart, I start the day. Full armor of God. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Man, I love y'all, man. I be popping in, man, with these freestyle streams, just going live, man. You know what I'm saying? That seemed like that's the energy, that's the move. I just get myself freshed up on a topic. I know we keep talking about immigration, you know what I'm saying? Because somebody else got shot, you know. That's a hot news topic, you know. It's stuff that keeps going on and going on and going on. We just hope that we get the best of it, you know, and unity. And I think unity comes through Jesus. That's just what I believe. But I ain't preaching no more to you, I promise you. Next time I see you, man, I'm going to be supercharged in politics. If you watched it to the end, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, man. I'll see y'all next time. I'll be Ghost Rider.